Now, how about this one, Shane? Near and dear to your heart, Vanderbilt at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
We know the Commodores have yet to win an SEC game. Didn't win one last year either. So, this we keep
won't win one this week either. I mean,
we keep saying it, but this is Vanderbilt's literally their last opportunity to win them an SEC game, and you got to imagine if there's any pride on that locker room in that sideline, they're gonna want to come out here and win it. I mean, this seems to be the game annually, Shane, where Vanderbilt punches above their weight, and they do not, get intimidated by the Tennessee Vols. And you got to think of it this way too, Shane. Now, I think it's a case of Ole Miss overlooking Vanderbilt, but they just faced an offense that's similar. That's going to go that tempo. So you got to think they're somewhat adjusted to it. They didn't handle it too well. I mean, they did force some turnovers here, but Vanderbilt's at least got that going for him. Mike Wright seems to be the answer there at quarterback. He has strung a couple good quarters back to back to back here. Now for Tennessee, all the pressure's on you, but they're just playing so damn well right now. I don't think that's going to burden them. And if they didn't overlook South Alabama, I don't think they're going to overlook final game of the season, senior day, and trying to get themselves to a bowl. And not only a bowl, Shane, but if you look across the SEC, there's a lot of teams now that are in that 5, 6, 7, 8 win mark. And I think the bowls, I don't know how much they factor in momentum and things of that nature, but if they do, the Tennessee Vols, if they win this game, you got to think with their fan base and the momentum that Josh Heupel and company got rolling, Tennessee's going to be positioned very, very well for a bowl game. So a lot on the line for the Tennessee Vols in this one too.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. A couple of things you said there. For starters, this is, they want to sell tickets when you're looking at these bowl games. They want a program that travels well. They want a program that's viewed well and that's playing well, and Tennessee flips that bill. So I think they're in a perfect spot to get a good bowl game. Now, obviously, you trip up on Vanderbilt, then we're singing a different song. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Vanderbilt, I think the biggest thing that you said that made sense to me was, and it's actually something I was going to lead with, was the fact they played Ole Miss last week, because they are a lot of times Tennessee catches people off guard right there in the first, second quarter. That's why they're always so successful on their first drive. It's just teams are struggling. I mean, you can watch it on film and you can try to game prep as much as you want, but it's tough to do. But the fact of the matter is Vanderbilt got a full dose of it last week. So when Tennessee comes out, they're going to be used to that tempo. And they're going to take film study and say, hey, how can we improve it? So that's one of the things that you can't get frustrated. You can't think that this is going to be a blowout. You got to make it a blowout. And that means don't get too cocky. Don't get out there slinging stuff that you wouldn't sling in a different game. Stay true to the running backs, stay true to the running game. And the key, I really do believe, is this defense. Tennessee's defense, say what you want, they have had some very impressive games. And if they can create chaos back there in the backfield with Vanderbilt, they have shown you if you make them one-dimensional, they cannot move the ball. So I think that's the key with Tennessee. Is as much as we want to talk about offense, it's just keeping their offense off the field.
And, it's very tough, Shane, to sit here with a straight face and say that this is going to be a competitive ball game. But I will say that, I've seen a lot worse teams in the SEC just kind of give in. I mean, hell, I think we're seeing that with the Florida Gators to an extent, and we've seen it with a number of teams in recent years. And these Commodores, Shane, even though their record is horrible, and they've had a couple blowouts this year, they have not given up. They're still fighting, and I think that's a credit to the future of that program. And they got to do it for one more week here. We'll see if they can get up for it, but. Hell, all of a sudden, if they do pull off the miracle, then I think the whole trajectory of that program and the offseason changes a little bit for the Commodores.
And I'll tell you, Mike, I watched a cartoon the other day. You ever watch that, Rudolph and the Island of Misfits? You know what I'm saying? They just stick together and they got to go. That's Tennessee Volunteers, man. we had all them people, and they're going to put – I see it every single game. We talk about all the people that hit the transfer portal. Well, there's a lot of people on that roster that didn't, that stuck around, and you see that, man, when they were counted – everybody counted them out. Nobody, myself included, had a tough time predicting these guys to make it to a bowl game. But then you see these kids on the sideline about when they're up 28, 35 points, they're rolling the helmet and pretending like they're bowling pins. I mean, these kids are all in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I don't see a lot of letdown from this program. I think they're exceeding expectations, and the coaching staff's doing a great job in keeping these boys pumped up and level-headed. So that's why I think we're going to see a blowout, Mike. I don't want to tip my hat, but just because this isn't the Tennessee teams we've seen in year past. And you know, Vanderbilt, it's a scary program. I know I'm trying to say, man, because you can't overlook them, because there have been years past that we've lost to them. There's been years that we've got destroyed by them. And there was some times that when we were supposed to go out there and just smoke them, that we're sitting there in the fourth quarter, you know, on the edge of our seat praying we beat Vanderbilt. So that's as much as I'm just told you two different things, but I think Tennessee's going to be there ready to play. But then there's the fan in me that knows this program is like, well, let's just don't screw it up, you know.
Josh, after you got here, I know it's always hard to tell exactly what you've got until you can go play other teams. But was there a point any time this spring or this summer or camp when you really kind of looked at the team on film and looked at your staff and said, I think we have enough to be a pretty competitive team here? Because a lot of people didn't necessarily expect that to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. I think outside expectations, outside noise is something that myself and our staff have tried to not pay attention to, and I think our players have bought into that as well. And from the moment that I got here, I never placed a ceiling on what our football team could do. You've heard me say it, that we are in a race against ourselves. I'm so proud of the growth from the first day that I got here to who we are now. Certainly want some things to be better at the same time too as a coach, but the growth of individuals and collectively as a team, really special. And you know, I think we've laid a great foundation to what we're going to be in the future.
Is there anything, I know you mentioned senior night, of course, this Saturday is going to be the last regular season game on Rocky Top. Is there anything besides just making sure all those guys have a great senior night, anything that you are setting out to prove this Saturday against Vandy?
Yeah, it's for us that we're going to finish as a program. You heard me talking a little bit about that last week, but this is the end of the regular season that we're going to finish it. That our preparation is going to can be consistent but continue to get better. You know, you're constantly proving things to yourself, you know, and to me that's what we're trying to do this Saturday.
We're gonna start Mike this week. Just the right thing to do for this week. I mean, there's going to be carryover in the plan, and there were things that we felt like, you know, he was able to do last week that'll be helpful in this week's plan as well. But Ken's a warrior. I mean, Ken's battled. He's fought back from a surgery. He's been banged up, and he'll be available. But you know, I just want to just have such a respect for how he's fought through, you know, the physical strain of a long season, and honor that. And glad he'll be with us and available. Mike will get the start this week. Yeah, the game means a lot. I mean, it's an emotional game. It's one that means a lot to me personally. It means a lot to our team. And, you know, we've been proud of how our program's performed in this game in the recent past. But I think still there's an element of this year that our focus is on us. This is about Team One finishing the season on a high note. This is about us finding our highest level of performance. This is about us, you know, pouring into the relationships that we've built, and it really kind of pulled us through here to the finish, and honoring those in the way we fight and the way we play on the weekend. And so it's certainly a game that we are excited about, and one that we're always going to be excited for. But I think in year one, there's just a special attention to us finishing the job for each other as Team One, and really hoping to build to a crescendo here at the end.